Welcome to the CrossFit Max podcast.
What is going on, beautiful people? And thanks for tuning in to this episode. I'm stoked you're here. If you want to follow along with the CrossFit Max journey, then make sure you check us out on social media. You can find us on Instagram at CrossFitMax_MTL. If you're looking for cool health tips, educational posts, or just simply seeing our members be badass human beings. Even one of our clients just made a really epic montage video of our event that we had last weekend. Go give us a follow, and we hope that you enjoy this episode. Ayrton under control. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. What's
Blast
up?
off.
Blast off. All right, new intro for you guys. We're going to space.
Love it. What's up, everybody? Susie and Brandon here, your favorite podcast hosts.
Turns out you have everything under control.
Do you feel weird that I just totally did that?
I love it. We're going in with a bang to start the episode. And hopefully you guys are ready. So buckle up.
I feel like we said buckle up last time too, actually. Is that the new thing?
Here we go. Banter topic. We're talking...
Talk dirty to me, baby.
MURPH prep.
Oh, fitting.
So MURPH is a hero workout that is done on Memorial Day every single year, which this year it is May 27th.
Correct.
Nailed it. On May 27th, it is a U.S. holiday.
Yes.
And we, on a global level, do a hero workout every single year.
We,
and
as in CrossFitters?
CrossFitters globally do a hero workout. And most often, majority of gyms do the workout called MURPH.
Yeah.
And we do that in honor of Lieutenant Michael Murphy, I believe that was his name, who was a Navy SEAL and passed in service. And if you guys haven't seen, there's a movie from Mark Wahlberg where it pretty much showcases what that entire platoon, I guess, or what the entire group of, I don't know what you call them. I guess platoon is the right word. Group of Navy SEALs.
I don't speak Army.
Went through, and
right.
It's called Lone Survivor for a reason. And it just represents what they had gone through and what had happened. And so we do.
Sacrifices they made.
Yeah. So we do MURPH every single year. We did it last year. We're going to do it this year, and we're going to do it next year. But the thing is,
we'll do it the year after?
We'll definitely be doing it the year after.
Sick.
But the thing is, it is a lot of volume and arguably one of the hardest workouts you will do all year. So that being said, the workout is, for time, a 1 mile run to start, and then 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, and then you finish with another 1 mile run. Most people around the world partition the 100, 200, 300 however they want.
Yeah.
So whether they do 10 rounds of 10, 20, 30, whether they do 20 rounds of 5, 10, 15, whether you do 5 rounds of whatever, that 20, 40, 60,
Damn.
However you want, people partition it. And technically the real RX is also with a weighted vest.
Damn. Well, I have the weight vest already.
On the front end of the body. That's for
the
sure.
Weight belly.
The weight belly, yeah. So in order for our members to build up to that volume in this new 12-week cycle, we have been working on Mondays to prepare them for that workout. And we did MURPH prep number 2 yesterday.
Yes.
Which, man, it is Tuesday and I am feeling it.
Sore.
I'm feeling sore, yeah.
I agree.
And so there's a few things why we're doing this. In the past, many, many times, MURPH has actually been just this workout that we do. We don't put any preparation to it. And for many times, it's also been the first run of my entire season. So slapped a vest on my body, a 20-pound vest, and just started with a 1 mile run with a vest.
It just feels like a bad idea.
Into 100, 200, 300 and finishing with a mile. So it's pretty much like a 60-minute grind.
Asks a lot of your joints if you haven't been running at all prior.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 3.2 kilometers total with a vest plus all the body weight exercises.
Exactly.
So it is a tremendous amount of volume, and so we've been incorporating it. Last week we had like a 20-minute AMRAP of, we started building tolerance on the push-ups, because I think arguably push-ups is the hardest.
Slow you down the most.
Yeah, I'll slow you down and will most likely be the hardest for those who, are just maybe beginner intermediate, who are just starting to get their pull-ups. Then maybe the pull-ups might start to get, might be the harder part. But for most people, the push-ups are just long. They're grind. Your arms get sore quickly. Yes. And it's just a grind. So, so last week we did a 30-minute, yesterday we did a 30-minute AMRAP. So we're increasing the time domain. We increased the running a little bit, and we did a nice little workout with a decent amount of pull-ups and a decent amount of push-ups. So it was an AMRAP of 30 minutes, and depending on where your fitness level was, I was able to do pretty much a half MURPH, or a little bit more than a half MURPH yesterday, which was good because we still got 2 more preparations before we actually do MURPH.
You're going to be so ready, honey.
And so are
our athletes who work out on Mondays.
Even just my body's feeling it now. So there's a few reasons.
I'm feeling it. My quads are feeling it from the air squats yesterday.
Yeah, there's several reasons why. There's number one, like, we want you guys to feel okay when you're doing it. We want you to feel like you have a game plan going in.
Yeah, I feel like the mental preparation factor of doing the MURPH prep is super essential. Yeah. Because then you look at that big workout and you're like, whoa, guys, the last 3-4 weeks, you have literally done these movements.
Exactly.
We've just been tricking you into it.
Yep. So building, the mental block of thinking, oh my God, like, it's MURPH.
Yeah,
well,
like
if
that
you've done
feeling
4
of
MURPH preps, then you'll be ready on the day to do MURPH. There's also the actual awareness on how you're going to break down MURPH. Like, am I going to do the 5, 10, 15 for 20 rounds? What is my capacity like? For my scaling options, am I going to do some ring rows, or am I going to do jumping pull-ups? Have you been practicing your kipping pull-ups? For those of you guys who, again, are beginner intermediate and want to practice their kipping pull-ups, like understanding the rhythm under fatigue and just feeling the repetitions as well. And then also, so there's the performance side of things come MURPH day that you want to feel good, but then there's also the recovery. Like, what I'm feeling right now is I'm feeling pretty sore right now. I cannot imagine if I just did MURPH yesterday, how broken I would feel.
Yeah, and our mindset forever with training is not to wreck our bodies.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good point.
At least at CrossFit Max. Can't speak for all gyms.
So we've been doing MURPH prep. Hopefully you guys who are listening, I'm sure most of you guys are CrossFit Max members, and you guys are feeling the boost of confidence as we get closer and closer to MURPH. I'm excited to do it. Hopefully you guys are excited. Every year it is a challenging workout, but we don't shy away from a challenge.
We rise up to meet it.
Exactly. And we prepare for it. And that's why we're doing that. So for those of you guys who aren't at CrossFit Max, hopefully wherever you're training,
be switching gyms. No, I'm just kidding.
Hopefully you guys are training and preparing yourself for it, even if it's just doing push-ups, 2-3 times per week, just getting 50 to 100 push-ups in a morning or something like that, just to build up the tolerance.
One of our members has been doing a lot of push-ups after his workouts at the moment to prep himself for MURPH.
Who's that?
Matthew?
Oh, Matt. Yeah. Well, there's a few others. That's why I was asking. I wasn't sure who you were talking about. Jason also wrote to me saying, hey, I want to do like 100 push-ups every single day. Is that a lot? And I said, yes, you can do it. MURPH prep, and then you could do maybe 2 other days throughout the week where you do 100 push-ups, but doing 100 push-ups every single day is ludicrous on top of your already training that you're doing.
That's like trying to train for a marathon and be like, oh, I'm going to run a marathon every day this week to prep for the marathon.
No. Don't do that.
No. Yeah. It's wrong.
Yeah.
It's bad.
You will develop imbalances. You will potentially nag some joints and stuff as you do that. So, yeah, switch it up.
Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
Okay, people?
So, yeah, MURPH is coming up. Hopefully you guys are getting ready. We are 20 days away from it.
Wow.
I guess when they hear this, 19 days away from it. And, yeah, so hopefully you guys get excited for it.
I'm so excited for next year's MURPH already.
Yeah. Are you going to do it this year?
I don't know. I'll do my best.
It'll be really tough. In 20 days from now, you'll be 36, 37? 36? 37. Wow. Yeah, so maybe not. I don't think you should.
I don't think I'll be running the mile. That's for sure.
No.
I'm going to do like a pregnant version of MURPH.
Okay. Yeah. We'll have to find some
like
fun
uber
variation.
Scaled.
Yeah. We'll find some variation for you.
But I definitely want to participate if I'm not in labor.
Yeah.
Let's hope I'm in labor nice and early and have this baby early.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, maybe not on MURPH day because it would suck to miss that day.
Out on the 1 mile and boom, water breaks.
Sorry, guys. The gym is closed for the rest of today.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, hopefully you guys are crushing it in just your training overall. We've got a podcast where we're going to talk about the stupid shit that Brandon did when he started CrossFit.
And Susie.
And Susie as well, but you were better than me.
I had more guidance.
You had more guidance. Oh, shucks. From other coaches, right?
Yeah. LP and Junior really guided me well. I was so well taken care of.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, Coach LP. Thanks, Coach Junior.
So we're going to dive into some things because, a lot of people listen to this podcast have either just started their CrossFit journey or are still relatively new in their CrossFit journey.
Yeah.
I mean, our gym has only been open not even 2 years. And we're coming
just
up.
A baby.
We're coming up on 2 years soon, though.
We're just a baby.
We're what? May, June, July. We're like 3 months away from. That means we're 21 months in. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. So coming up on that 2 year mark. So our gym.
Before we go off the 2 year mark thing, it's so exciting to approach the 2 year mark because I feel like when you open a business is like the first 2 years are hell, the first 2 years, and everyone always says like careful
No, I'm just kidding.
first 2 years. So I'm excited to I feel like you get street cred once you pass the 2 year mark. You're like, boom, made it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't hell.
Yeah.
Ha.
Exactly.
Okay.
Cool.
That's all I wanted
Rant
to say.
over.
Okay, talking about stupid shit we did when we started CrossFit. Moving right along.
Yeah. All right. Well, should we just dive into it? So I started CrossFit in 2010.
Everybody knows your story of starting CrossFit. We've heard it a gazillion times on the podcast.
When did I start CrossFit? 2010 was not the right. 2014, excuse me. Or 2013. End of 2013.
And then you did the open right away. Everyone knows the story. Yeah.
I was going to give them the whole details. So just a young man walking into a CrossFit gym.
Oh my God.
Mistake number 1. Starting too late. I should have started 10 years before.
Yeah. No time like the present. Actually, the perfect time to start is now.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so just a quick note is when I started CrossFit, I came from a highly competitive sport background. Like I played basketball for a long time and I played college volleyball.
I was going to say badminton. Did you play badminton?
I played badminton for 1 high school year for like 2 months.
Badminton champ over here.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't get me into my badminton days, all right? I was a star at that. Until I played other schools and I sucked.
I feel like you're the 30-year-old who's going to pick up pickleball soon.
I'm ready. I'm ready for pickleball. I've been seeing the hype on it, but I haven't done it. But yeah, any racket sports, I freaking love it. Ping pong too. Boo, boo, boo. Yeah. Anyways, here we go.
Sorry.
So came in from being extremely competitive into sports, also relatively young. I started when I was 19 or 20. So thinking that this CrossFit thing, also CrossFit was different 11 years ago. It was more for the high intensity sport people, like how fast can you do? What's your best time? What's the best weight you can do, Right. So it has come along. It has evolved quite a bit over the years.
Inclusive now.
So, yeah. One of the biggest mistakes I made going into CrossFit is really just taking it like game day, essentially. Going into every single workout as if I'm about to go full intensity, full out effort, and doing that every single time I walked into the gym. And that just wrecked me.
Right.
And I would not recommend anybody doing that. Just bringing the intensity and just feeling like you're throwing your body against a wall every single time.
0 to 60 every time.
Yeah. And that also just led into all the other things that I'm going to talk about in this episode. But just feeling like going in and just giving it my all for everything I did was not the right way to go.
Absolutely not.
But that's how I approached sport. When I played basketball, when I played games, it was game day, you got to go.
As a 19-year-old guy, I feel like that's also just like, you're just a lot of ego at that age.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, so just like walking into the gym and feeling like, all right, I got to give my best time. I got to give the best score I can for my AMRAPs. And it just, after several, actually I probably did this for a good first year, I would say, maybe even a couple years, where it's just like every time there was just a lot of mental pressure I felt like I put on myself. And then that didn't correlate to good feelings after. Some days it did, some days it didn't. You know, when you do a good workout and you feel good and you're like, yeah, I crushed that. But then you do that over and over and over again, and by the end of the week your body is just absolutely wrecked, and then you can't perform the way you did earlier into the week, and then you get discouraged,
you get hard on yourself.
Yeah,
you start to do stupid things too when your like muscles are super fatigued or you're in a lot of pain. You start to move in a unsafe way.
Yep. And I think it's like that for really any sport you try to play. You just try to, like, most people when they join something, they just go like all in on it.
Absolutely.
Or at least I would say the average person would mostly do that.
I feel like people who play had the opposite problem, but
people who play pickleball want to be the best at pickleball right now. You know, people who want to lose weight, they want to lose weight now. They don't want to do it in the long run. They want to do it like right now. I want to lose the weight right now and just get it off me. You know, 100%. I'll do anything. Just get it off me right now, you know?
Yes.
And
it's the like, long game, guys. It's the long game. Tortoise and the hare, everyone freaking knows the story. Like, it's the long game.
So just like not learning to do that was really hard. There is like this debate whether like intensity is more important than volume. And I really am on the opposite side of that. And I think volume is more important than intensity is. But intensity it's not like one or the other is good or bad. It's that they're both really important, but I just think that volume is more important than intensity is.
I feel like volume is like the bottom of the pyramid. Like, you got to lay the foundation of volume before you can add the intensity, because you don't get value out of the intensity if you haven't put the volume in, the prior work, the foundation laying steps.
Exactly. And what I would do is I would train really, really hard for, let's say, 3 or 4 days and have to take 3 or 4 days off throughout the week because my body was just so wrecked.
Yeah. And then you're just sort of in a vicious cycle.
Exactly. Yep. So understanding that as a beginner, it's so important to just be consistent, and showing up to the gym and going through the motions is far more important than feeling like you need to go in and kill it in every single workout.
Yeah.
I need to do my best score. I need to do the best weight. I need to do the best performance I can possibly give. That's far less important than so many other things of just showing up to the gym, going through the motions, especially because a lot of new CrossFitters just need to work on the technique. And the only way you're going to get better at technique is by doing it often and a lot.
And properly,
right? So that was probably my biggest fault. And then carrying over from intensity would be like just trying to lift too heavy. Like too heavy, too often.
Ego.
I mean, also at the time, like programming was kind of that.
You weren't following the Coach B program.
Like a lot of the programming was like, today we're going to do a 3-rep max strict press. And then later in the week, we're going to do a 1-rep max clean. And then the following week, we're going to do a heaviest complex we can do on this snatch complex.
Yeah, and like you shouldn't be testing your maxes that often.
Yeah,
That's a big red flag if you're seeing that in your gym.
Yeah, and I think there is this really cool, fun factor at the beginning. I would probably say for the first, I don't know, maybe up to 2 years, where it almost just feels like everything you do in the gym is a PR. Which is so great. It's like, I hit a personal record on this. I hit a personal record on that.
Every time you deadlift, you get a little bit stronger.
Yeah. It's like, like I'm always progressing. This is great. Like everything I do is a record. It's a personal record. It's a PR. and it's a good feeling, but sometimes you also have to know that that's not the thing you should be chasing every single time you come into the gym.
Yeah.
And it was every time I was going to the gym, I just felt like I needed to PR then and there. We're doing clean complexes and we're trying to work on our technique. It's like, who cares about the technique? I'm trying to lift the heaviest I can do, you know?
Right.
Back squats, we're doing a 5x3 back squats. No. Like on my third one, I'm getting to failure. Like I'm lifting until I can't lift anymore.
Yeah.
So lifting too heavy, too often, failing repetitions and not getting in like the practice. Like I said, like instead of being consistent, I was just failing reps, or I was getting really, really sloppy with higher skill stuff. Let's use toes to bar as an example. When I got my first toes to bar, I was like swaying all over the bar just so I can say I got my toes to the bar, instead of doing proper gymnastic kipping leg raises and working on the rhythm and being efficient at the movement. And I probably would have gone, and essentially if I didn't do that, when you guys peel back the weight on the bars or peel back the intensity for things, your body will be able to go through good, consistent motions, and you'll build really, really good habits right from the beginning, as opposed to when you start to go too heavy or push yourself on the intensity factor, then you get sloppy with your movement, and then you develop bad habits at the beginning, and then it takes even longer in the end for you to get the results you're looking for. Yeah, because
instead of learning the movement, you have to unlearn the bad habit, then relearn the movement.
Yep, exactly. So lifting too heavy too often, or challenging myself in ways that were inefficient just so I could check off an RX on the leaderboard, or so just like you said before, letting my ego
dictate
like putting that at the front there and just saying like, doesn't matter about my technique, like I'm just gonna go as heavy as I can. That probably set me back a decent amount, and if I'm being honest, it probably caused a few injuries along the way as well.
100%.
Like I dealt with a lot of knee issues coming out of jumping my whole childhood. Like playing basketball and volleyball were jumping sports. Badminton. didn't really play badminton.
I'm just kidding.
But like I have like really, really poor ankle stability from spraining my ankles many times growing up, from landing on people's feet and ankles going in different directions.
Right.
So ankle stability coming into CrossFit was terrible. I remember walking into CrossFit for the first couple months wearing my basketball shoes.
That's a whole other issue.
Yeah. And then like that caused pronation of the ankle, my knees caving in a lot. And then you add that, knees caving in, hips rotating in positions they shouldn't be, doing a heavy clean when I shouldn't have been doing a heavy clean. That's going to cause extra stress on the knees. Right. So like tendonitis in my knees, tendonitis in my quad as well. Not building the appropriate strength in my upper body to be able to hang properly from a bar before doing a bunch of kipping stuff. So it probably turned into several injuries that could have been avoided if I was a little bit more patient and peeled back on the weight or peeled back on the intensity. And that's just something that you need to know as a beginner, because you're looking at you're sometimes you judge yourself by the people that are next to you, which I think that's one of the things you're going to talk about.
Yeah.
But I'm looking next to me and I'm seeing like these 45-year-old women doing kipping pull-ups or lifting heavy barbell back squats, and I'm this 19, 20-year-old kid coming out of sports college here. And I'm like, why are they lifting heavier than me? There's no way I'm going to allow this 45-year-old mom to do better than I will, Yes. So sometimes when you get caught up in the groups, you just don't know. Like that 45-year-old woman's been doing CrossFit for 3-4 years, and she's put in the time of like using a lighter barbell, practicing the movements, working on her body weight position, like how to get into the bottom of a squat without your knees caving in. There's a whole bunch of reasons, so sometimes you just got to be careful not to compare yourself next to the people in the class and just focus on yourself.
Comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison will steal your happiness. If you are worried about what other people are lifting or what other people are, movements they're doing around you, and you're comparing yourself to those people, you're just robbing yourself of a good experience, because you cannot walk into a gym and be on month 1 and look over at someone on month 50 and expect even if they're the same age as you or they look similar to you, you can't compare your day 1 to someone's day 500. It's just so unrealistic. And when you do that, the only person that loses in that situation is yourself.
Agreed. I do feel like there is certain things that, not comparing yourself, motivation. Yeah, it's just like they got to a point where
like aspiring to be like.
Yeah, there was people that were moving, and it took a good few months, maybe almost first year, for myself to stop doing that, and then using that in a different way. Like I started using it in a different way, where thinking like, hey, like I want to be able to do what that person is doing, like ring muscle ups. Oh my God, that was so freaking cool to see people do that, and thinking to myself, okay, what do I have to do to get to that? And then asking those people, what are you doing? You know, instead of thinking like, I'm just going to hop on the rings and get sloppy with my technique.
Just like throw your body around.
Yeah. It's like actually asking people, what are you doing? How are you doing it? What are some drills? It is
fun watching people who have higher skills than you, because you're like, oh, it's physically possible. You're watching them doing it, and you're going, hey, that person's not that different from me. What if they can do it, then I could do it eventually too.
Exactly.
That's one way of using it as in a positive way. But if you're just constantly looking around and being like, that person lifts heavier than me, and like I suck because I can't lift as heavy as this person who's like way younger than me, or whatever it is, or way older than me.
My situation was way older.
But the end of the day, if you use that as like, okay, well, if that person's able to lift that weight, if I dedicate myself to the process and I put in the amount of time that maybe they've put into the workouts, then I can get there too.
Oh, this person's coming to the gym 5 times per week, and I'm coming to the gym 3 times per week. They're almost doing twice the amount of volume that I'm able to do.
Yeah, so their 3 months of CrossFit is actually 6 months of CrossFit compared to yours.
Exactly. So they're doing a significant amount more training than you are. So yeah, so that was a big mistake that I would have rather fixed early into my years, and using people around me as motivation versus, you know, pushing myself beyond my limits and letting my ego take
you can
charge.
Look up to someone instead of comparing yourself.
Yeah. Did you want to go into one, or do you want me to go into that?
Yeah. Like, let me talk about my start of CrossFit, because it's completely different than yours. It's almost like the opposite problems. I would say my biggest mistake when I first started was being resistant to it, because I wasn't good at it yet. Obviously, no one's gonna be crushing the Metcon on their first day in the gym, like it's normal. And feeling like I wasn't good at it made me not want to do it often. And so I felt like I took more of like a casual approach. But when you only work out like 1 to 2 times per week, your progress is obviously going to be much slower than if you work out 3 to 5 times per week. And also when you're only coming, let's say 2 times per week, your body feels so wrecked all the time because your muscles are not adapting to this style of training.
Yeah.
So I felt like I didn't go like 0 to 60 like you were saying, and I almost took like more of a snail pace.
I only go 0 to 100, okay?
0 to 100, whatever. But I feel like I took a little bit slower of a burn. It took me longer to fall in love with CrossFit, and I wish in hindsight that I had like committed to like coming a little bit more regularly at the beginning, because I feel like if you spread it out too much, then you a little bit forget, like the muscle memory doesn't click as soon, and so it takes you longer to adapt. So I think that's one big mistake that I made. And then obviously we talked about the comparison factor. It's just a personality trait of mine that I don't like not being good at stuff. And so like comparing myself to people, making my like feeling inferior in the classes was like mentally hard for me. But then I also think that a lot of women maybe are going to be able to relate to this is it took me a long time to get comfortable with going to failure. Like, I remember when I first started CrossFit, you were always telling me, like, put some more weight on your bar, or go get a heavier dumbbell, or try this. And I had kind of put myself in a mental category of like, I'm not able to lift more than this weight that's comfortable for me. And if I keep this comfortable weight, then I can go really fast in the workout and then I look fit, you know? And so I think that this is maybe more of like a woman, happens more with women. It's less about the ego of like what the weight is on the bar. Yeah. And more about just like, I don't know, not finishing the workout last. Yeah. Or just being like in your comfort zone with the weights. And so, you know, in order to get stronger on your back squat, like you have to put some weight on the bar. And it took me a long time to start doing that. I feel like it was a good 2 years into my CrossFit before I started getting confident to be pushing myself to a point of failure when it was appropriate to be testing the weights and stuff. And like, you know, being brave enough to grab the 35-pound dumbbell. It took me a long time to reach for that dumbbell, because I was just, I didn't believe that I was strong enough, you know? Yeah. So I feel like my mistakes are more like I didn't commit hard enough.
Yeah. It's hard to coach someone on that, because a lot of the time you're trying to coach people, and let's say we have an AMRAP. Everyone's working for, let's say 12 minutes. Everyone's working for 12 minutes. But I want you guys to make sure you're choosing a heavy weight for this dumbbell. We're all finishing in 12 minutes. You know, like, it doesn't matter if you grab lightweight.
No one's going to see you.
Like, if you do 8 rounds or you do 5 rounds in this AMRAP, it doesn't matter. We're all done in 12 minutes. Right. But I want you to choose a heavy dumbbell that you're going to grind in. And there's some AMRAPs that you need to grab a lighter dumbbell. You need to move a lot. And you need to do a lot of repetitions. For sure. And then there's some workouts where it's like, hey, I need you guys to grab a heavy dumbbell, and I need you guys to do less rounds and grind it out with that. Right. And for sure, it's when that happens, like you said, most people will lean towards the lighter side of things, and you have to challenge, you really have to push them.
I think like we're seeing it happen a lot right now in CrossFit Max. A lot of girls are really starting to get that click of like, actually I would rather like do less rounds and challenge myself on the weight than the other way around.
The Open brought that out, and a lot of people the Open was like, here is the 35-pound dumbbell. This is the workout. There's no option. There's no, like, you have to lift 35-pound dumbbell. And so many women walked into that saying, like, I've never lifted 35. It's too heavy for me, blah, blah, blah. And now there are, I kid you not. You have to go buy
more 35-pound dumbbells because they're all using them.
I kid you not. There's probably 10 women that would have never grabbed the 35-pound dumbbell prior to the Open, maybe 3 months ago.
100%.
And now all of them are using the 35-pound dumbbell in almost every single workout they use.
100%.
You know, so.
And I think that, so like I had a lot of mental blocks when it came to CrossFit. Like I wasn't.
So for you, pushing a little bit more to the grindy or even the failing side of things.
It took me a long time into my CrossFit journey to do that. I was just lifting the same weights all the time because I knew I could. Yeah. And I was comfortable doing that. And I didn't feel like a loser in the class because I wasn't failing the weight. Like I was like mentally so hard on myself. Like I thought failing a rep was like a sign that I was weak. But learning now, failing a rep means like I found my strength. Like that's where I'm at. Like that's my edge of strength. And like that's my goal. Like for the next thing. But I used to be really, really hard on myself. Really, really hard on myself. And I wanted to be like, you know, when the you're saying your rounds, I wanted to have like a high number of rounds. So I would just pick a dumbbell that I knew I could throw around.
Interesting. Trying to impress me, huh?
It worked. We're married. I'm pregnant with your child.
Yeah, it is funny. Sometimes we'll have strength components where we're doing, let's use the back squat. I like this example, but we'll do back squats 1 week where we're doing 4x3, let's just say, and then people will choose 100 pounds. Let's say you choose 100 pounds here. Keep it easy numbers. And then the next week we'll increase the repetitions and we'll do 4x5 back squats, and people will still be able to do 100 pounds for 5 reps. It's like, wait, hold on a second. Last week you were supposed to go hard and you did 3 reps at 100 pounds. And then this week, you're able to do 5 reps at 100 pounds. You didn't get that much stronger in 1 week, I promise you. So you definitely went way too soft on yourself on the first week for those set of 3, you know. And like you said, in order to really get a true strength adaptation, you need to challenge yourselves in the load. And going back to the back squat, I don't know if I've said this on the podcast. I think I've told you this story, but the first time I ever did a back squat.
Yes, I do know this story. This is hilarious.
I did it's like one of my first weeks. And going back to volleyball, actually, I played volleyball. Like someone who I played volleyball with was the person that invited me to go and try CrossFit at the gym. So I went and did the foundation program and whatever. I was in the class first week and we're doing back squats and we're like in the ramp up period. We're not even getting at our working sets. And the person I was with, he had really, really strong legs, like really, really strong. This guy could squat back then, like over 3 plates. He was freaking built because he played soccer as well. So he put on like 145-pound plate onto the barbell as like the first ramp up set. And I'm like, all right. So I go down there. I don't know how many reps we're doing, but not that many. And I do like a couple. I'm like, oh my God, my legs. And then I put on a 10 on each side. And I thought he was behind me, but he actually went to go get some more weights.
I'm dying.
So I went, put the bar on my back, sat down in the bottom of a squat, and literally could not get up. And I thought he was behind me, and I kind of just not yelled, but I was like, hey, like Nick, I'm stuck. And he wasn't there, and I'm just sitting in the bottom, don't know what to do. This 155-pound barbell is crushing me at this moment. And like I said, not like poor ankle stability when I started, sucked at squatting, my worst movement. I'm sitting in the bottom of the squat, and it's hurting so bad. And I kind of just yelled out like, help. And LP at the time came like running towards me, literally like grabbed the barbell like it was nothing, just grabbed the barbell off my back and put on the ground. And then he proceeded to show me like how to actually fail and how to dump the barbell. So it's funny to talk about that story because I failed. I went too heavy, too fast on literally my first back squat session in a group training, and I learned immediately what failure was like.
And I think it took me over a year to back squat more than 100 pounds.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's fun. Anyways, I want to tell that story here.
That's hilarious.
Okay, so next thing.
Tell me your next mistake, honey.
So a couple other things that I feel like I didn't do properly. One thing kind of relates to other things, but I feel like when I played sports, it was just about getting to the practice, doing the practice, getting to the game, doing the game thing. And when I started CrossFit, I was doing the exact same thing. Like, just CrossFit is a 60-minute session. That's all I got to focus on. But then what I realized is that CrossFit and any sort of physical activity is not just based on the 60 minutes of activity that you do in that day, but the other 23 hours out of the day. So something that I would just focus on is just my 60-minute session, and that's it. I didn't really care about my sleep. I didn't really care about my food. I didn't really care about my stretching, my recovery, my lifestyle. Like, none of those things were a thought for probably at least the first 6 to maybe 12 months of training CrossFit. And then when I started getting into it a little bit more, I realized, okay, like, nutrition has a huge role on how I'm going to feel when I'm working out. Like, I just thought that this thing was, hey, I'm just going to show up, give it my all. Like, man, like today I have no energy. What is going on? The next day, I'm in the zone. I freaking crushed that workout. I'm like feeling so good. I feel like I can do 3 of these workouts, you know?
Right.
And then I start realizing, okay, like, what I eat on a day-to-day basis is going to dictate how I feel when I train. It's going to, when I sleep really good throughout the night, I'm going to feel really good, rather than if I had a shit night's sleep.
Went partying the night before. Drinking
out, like frequent alcohol consumption, oh, man, it's like Monday, I'm showing up to the gym. Like, why? I took Saturday and Sunday off. Why do I feel like garbage right now on this Monday? Oh, that's because, dum-dum, you drank a lot of alcohol on Friday and Saturday and went out with your buddies back-to-back nights. You didn't sleep very good. You ate shitty foods over the weekend. That's why you feel like crap in your Monday workout right now. Not because you did a workout the day before, but literally you had 2 days of rest, but your lifestyle was shit. So
yeah, big impact.
Something that I really started to notice more towards the end of the first year was nutrition has a massive role in not just your health, but also your performance. I would start to notice, okay, if I eat too close to my training session, my stomach is kind of irritated. Like I'm getting like bloated, and what I eat around also has like an effect on how I'm feeling.
Right.
Different times a day that I'm training, like how is that going to affect like my nutrition? Should I eat breakfast? Should I not eat breakfast? And every single person is different on this matter. Some people train at 6 o'clock in the morning and will wake up really early to get a breakfast in, or some people will just eat a breakfast at 5 a.m. and then train at 6 a.m. If you put a breakfast in my stomach before I'm working out early in the morning, I will feel terrible in the workout. So I prefer, if I'm doing an early morning session, to eat after. So you start to learn these things that, hey, just the CrossFit session is great, but what am I doing for the other 23 hours? And that's going to have a huge impact on my progression inside the gym.
Absolutely.
So that was something that was really, really important that I learned a little bit later on that I wish I
think it happens to a lot of people is once they start doing CrossFit and they start prioritizing their health in that way, then they start to be like, okay, like where else can I improve in my lifestyle?
And then I only have one other thing, unless you want to hop in and if you have one more thing you want to add here.
I don't know.
Okay, so I'll say my last thing here, and then we'll go into client of the week, which Excellent. We got a special one. But the last one, and probably the most important one to avoid at the beginning, is cherry picking your workouts.
Oh, yes.
So this was something that I would do often at the beginning.
What does that mean?
What does cherry picking means? When you see the workouts, you decide whether or not you're going to the gym that day.
Based on the workout.
So you see the workout, you know what? I don't really feel like this is going to be a good workout for me. I'm not going to do this one. I'm going to take a rest day today.
Naughty.
And then seeing like, oh, like there's movements in here that I suck at. So you know what? I'm not going to do that workout. Or, for whatever reason, it was a big, big mistake that I made and really affected my growth at the beginning of CrossFit, my first year at least. Instead of having the mindset of I train, exactly. I train based on my availability. If I'm available on these days, then I'm going to the gym. And luckily it wasn't something that took me too long to get into. I would say probably like the first 6 to 8 months. I would say I really cherry picked the workouts. But then after that, it was something that I kind of picked up on. It's like, hey, these movements, you don't really like them because you suck at them. Okay, well then, in order to get better at them and not suck at them, and not, one of the things that I feel like is important is that when you see a workout, if you are nervous about doing that exercise, you need to do it more often until you're not nervous anymore. So if you see running in a workout and you're nervous because you don't run, well, you need to make sure you're there because you're going to get better. And then eventually what's going to happen is you're going to see running in a workout and you'll be like, yes, there's running in a workout.
Yeah, we've seen it happen a ton.
And you need to do that for everything. So what's important is that you don't cherry pick your workouts based on either how you're feeling. Oh, I didn't get a good night's sleep. Yeah. I'm not feeling so good today. Or, maybe I'm a little sore, or there's exercises that I'm not really comfortable doing. It's like, no, you're available on this day, this day, this day, this day. You sign up for this time no matter what. If you want, don't even look at the workout. Just show up at the gym. And that's what I started to do early on because I was so obsessed with the workouts that I would look at them. And then I took like a good, probably almost 6-month period where I said, hey, you're not going to look at the workouts anymore because you're putting too much pressure on yourself. You're, choosing whether you should go in or not. And it's just like for this,
just show up and do what's on the board.
Foreseeable future, I thought I was going to do this forever. That didn't last very long, but I would say it did last like at least several months where I just showed up at the gym and then went to the whiteboard and saw what the workout is while I was inside the gym already.
No backing out.
Exactly. So try not to cherry pick your workouts. It will really affect your progress. It'll affect your mindset going in. And just think like, hey, I got the time. It's my day that I've signed up. It's the group class that I've signed up. Doesn't matter who's in there. Doesn't matter if there's 2 people signed up or there's 12 people signed up in that class. This is the day and time that I'm going. Whatever the workout is, it is what it is. And I'm going to come out of that hour session being better at the end.
Yeah. I think my biggest learning curve in my CrossFit journey was just like learning to have that type of mindset, like switching my mindset from like a comparison competitive with other people mindset and learning to be competitive with myself in a positive and productive way. Like, I want to get better at this. In order to get better, I need to put in the work, and not like, oh, I'm useless because Jenny over there can do this movement that I can't do, or whatever.
Those freaking 45-year-old women doing muscle ups. What the hell?
But, instead, like, learning to be really, like, just having a positive approach to your training and being proud of yourself for showing up and being committed to the process and less to the outcome is really what made a massive shift. And I feel like it translated into everything I do in my life.
I think the biggest, that was kind of a little recap, but I think the biggest thing from like beginner and even intermediate CrossFitters is you gotta show up. And you gotta show up on the days that you want to. You gotta show up on the days that you don't want to.
Those are the days where you
gotta
really
choose you gotta choose your days that you're available. Some people have a more flexible schedule and can just pick and choose which days, and maybe they have, or maybe some people just have altering schedules, their work schedule changes from week to week, but other people don't have that luxury. Other people have specific and like an hour on that day that they can take for themselves, and they have to do it. So what's important is that you choose at the beginning of the week, these are the days. You're frequent with your training. You put your ego at the door. Don't bring it into the gym. Susie said, don't compare yourself. Yeah, don't compare yourself to others, but keep your fear at the door as well. And just, you have to be frequent. You have to do it often if you want to get better. And you will see a really solid progression throughout your journey. But that first like 6 to 12 months, you're going to see like an insane amount of growth. Absolutely. If you kind of do all the opposite things that we just said in this podcast.
Learn from our mistakes.
Exactly. And someone who is just doing all of that right now. So client of the week, pew, 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 pew. Someone who has been ultra consistent, who is one of those 45-year-old moms just killing it. And that is Bridget. She has been.
Congrats, Bridget.
Wow, that sounded so enthusiastic, Lev. Give her some love here.
I know. I just felt bad because Paul's doing a massage next door, so I don't want to yell. But congrats, Bridget. You're amazing.
She has been killing it inside the gym. She's been doing 5 to even 6 days of training every single week now for several weeks.
Oh, my God.
And yeah, she's just making really insane progress.
Too.
Yeah, she's been really working on her gymnastics. She'll get her muscle up one day, but she's been working on her pull-ups, her toes to bar. She's just been ultra consistent. She also has a very different mindset coming in. I feel like before she used to, what do you call that? The people who would, you're good at explaining this, but people who will say that these things are hard in like a negative way. Do you know what I'm talking about? People who, how do you say? You say it all the time. For people who are like, will make jokes about the workout being self-deprecating. That's the term I was looking for. I feel like Bridget did that a lot early into her CrossFit years, and I feel like now she's coming in and with a big smile on her face, like she's like ready to go and ready to tackle this workout.
Yeah, and her fitness gains are insane.
Yeah, she's she's absolutely killing it. So Bridget,
and she also has like an incredibly demanding job, and she makes time. Sometimes she comes to a 6 p.m. workout and then has to go back to work.
Yeah, she's working
like
lady.
In different time zones. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and she obviously has had a huge impact and influence on her daughter Steph.
Yes.
And her husband Ian.
Absolutely.
So they are both into
and her
CrossFit.
Sister and her sister's husband.
Exactly, yeah.
Bridget's been spreading the magic.
Yeah, so keep it up, Bridget. Really proud of you. You're doing awesome. The rest of you guys listening, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Hopefully you guys took some nuggets away and will avoid doing some of the mistakes that we made early into our CrossFit journey.
Absolutely.
And we hope that you have a good rest of your day, and we'll catch you in the next one. See ya.
Bye.